Leah, and I am the Sales and Support Lead for Appraiser Genie. I will be the host of this webinar today. This will be demonstrated with Total software. Just a heads up, I will actually mute everyone when we get started. I will make sure to stick around and answer any questions you guys have towards the end. But during the webinar, it's just a lot easier to mute everyone. And if you guys do have a question, you can send a chat message. And for everyone who is asking how long the webinar is, we actually schedule it from 4 to 5 Central Standard Time. Typically it does take up to an hour just because I try to explain everything I can, especially for new users or people who want a refresher. That way they have something to refer back to when they can't reach us, maybe on the weekends or on Sunday. You don't have to stick around for the duration of the webinar. I will post a recorded version online at www.appraisergenie.com. You'll just click on the training tab, and probably about a couple of hours after the webinar tonight, I will send an email to everyone who is registered, and you guys can view it later if needed. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get started. What you should see on my screen basically is an overview of the MLS process. In order to use Genie, a custom export has to be created and stored under your MLS login. The way it works is you'll log into your MLS, you're going to create a neighborhood search based on the report you're going to use. You'll basically save that to your computer, and in order to save it, we store a custom export, and it's basically a list of fields that we need that are in a particular order. It's very different across the nation. There's really no way to actually show you guys how to do it specifically from yours. It is very different. But I do have a screenshot here just to give you guys an idea of criteria I used when I logged into the MLS based on the report I'm going to use today. So this little screenshot is of Entrace, which is North Texas MLS, and this is the only criteria I included. I went within a 2-mile radius. I grabbed sold, active, pendings. I went back at least 1 year for sold. Pendings 90 if that's only required, depends on where you are. Single family. I did a price range and stories. So that gave me about 98 matches. Now, don't stress if you don't have quite a few matches here. It depends on the neighborhood. If you only have 40, if you only have 60, that's okay. Genie will still work for you. It should work no matter what area you're located in. So this is just an example to give you guys an idea of what you'll do when you're using the Genie as far as your MLS. Now there are a few MLSs that there's not any requirements set up for. Our MLS, North Star, there's a few of them you don't need any setup. You can just simply download the search as it is to your computer. If you use others such as Entrace, Austin Board of Realtors, you definitely need a template for those. So what you'll do is you can send an email to mls@appraisergenie.com, or you can call our MLS department. Either way, it's free. You do not have to send any MLS login information. We can walk you through setting this up, and it generally takes just a couple of minutes now. Okay, so that is the only overview or requirements. So keep that in mind. If you guys are brand new and never used it, definitely call us before you give it a go. Now, I already logged into the MLS as this screenshot indicated, and I just clicked on results and checked them all. And very similar, yours should have a button that says export, download, one of the two, and I just had a Dropbox and changed it to Genie. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. 1 second. Okay, so I saved that file to my computer. So you'll just save it wherever you want, wherever it's easier for you to find the file. You're just going to save it, and mine is right here. I'll open it and show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's just a list of information based on the neighborhood search criteria that returned. You'll see these column headers here, and this is what we mean by custom export. We want these columns in this exact order, so when we throw this in Genie, Genie can read the file. So as stated, we'll do this for you. Not a long process at all. Save it wherever you'd like. We'll minimize this for now. Okay, so what you'll generally have open, of course, is Total. And I opened Total. I just navigated to a report I want to use during the webinar today. you'll notice it's fairly blank other than general subject criteria such as the address, of course, city, state, zip code. When you scroll down here, you're going to see on page 2 the only criteria I have entered is the criteria related to the subject. Now, by no means do you actually have to have all this filled out, but the more accurate this is, the better your results will be. So if you don't know, maybe you haven't inspected the subject yet, you don't know the GLA, or you don't know the bedrooms, whatever criteria you don't know, you can leave it blank and Genie will pull it from public records. Now obviously use your own discretion as far as to if you want to rely on public records, because if they don't return anything, you're going to have to enter this anyway. But it's up to you. You don't have to have absolutely everything in here. And other than that, you're going to notice everything else is blank. Cost approach is blank. My 1004MC is not even in here. All of that Genie's going to fill out for you, and we're going to fill out your comp grid. And if you make any adjustments in Genie, we will populate them here automatically. And we actually put a lot of commentary in here. You'll have a comment based on the cost approach, 1004MC, subjects, previous sell history. This will be filled in here for you as well. And coming soon, we'll have a narrator addendum, which I'm going to give you guys a peek at that. It's not released yet, but for total, it will specifically be released pretty shortly, and I will show you what that looks like towards the end. All right, so we'll go and get started. If you haven't installed Appraiser Genie, you do have to do that first, and the way you access it is this dashboard button in the top right-hand corner. We're going to click Dashboard. And you'll notice I already have Appraiser Genie here. Of course, I've used this close to 1 million times probably. But what you're going to do, since you're not going to see it here for new users, you're going to go to Total Store and click Launch. And of course, the Total Store will open. You're just going to scroll down to Partner Products, click on Appraiser Genie. And of course, if you're new, please take advantage of the 10 uses. That way you can get accustomed to the software. After that, you can pay $4 per report, $35 for a 10-pack, or $69 a month if you need unlimited. So what you'll do is click 10 uses. You're going to just sign in with your a la mode login. We do not have this on file. Make sure you know what that is. You click Sign In. It's going to download it. All you do is close this, go back and close Dashboard, relaunch it. Just like any other item you purchase from Total, the only difference is this is going to say download like here. Instead of launch, you're just going to install it, go back and relaunch Dashboard, and you'll be where I am. So that's a very easy installation process. Nothing really required. Just go ahead and sign up for it. Okay, so since I have the report open and I have the MLS file, as stated right here, already saved to my computer, that's all you need to have done initially. So we'll click Launch. Now I have 2 monitors, so I will drag it over. We're going to choose a currently open report. If you have more than one open, please make sure you have the right one selected, and all you do is click OK. Now Genie's going to take care of the rest. Genie is compatible with Chrome. We are cloud-based, meaning there's no actual software installed on your computer, minus a few things just so it can communicate with Total. But you'll see this window populated on its own. I didn't do anything. I just clicked Launch. And we prefer you use Chrome. You can use Firefox. We definitely don't recommend Internet Explorer. They just don't support a lot of the newer code, so I don't recommend that. Now you'll see here it launches as shown below. What we're going to want to do is we're going to go to the defaults first. There's actually a tab in Genie specifically for defaults that we want to go ahead and show you guys first. So the way you navigate is this forward and backward arrow towards the top here. We're going to click this arrow all the way over to the end, and we're going to click defaults at the end here. Alright, so we're going to let that load. Now this should move relatively quicker for you guys. It does slow down when we're on GoToMeeting, and the way you know it's actually moving is this little circle indicating it's moving to the next tab. So as long as you see the circle up top, just let it load. Now you'll see blue tabs to the left here. These are different defaults you can set up. whatever you set up on this tab here does apply to every report, but all you do is arrow back over here, change the defaults like I will show you, and it will change them for future reports. Now this is very important. Please make sure you have all the modes selected here. As you'll see, there's different options. This information should be pre-filled when you register with Appraiser Genie, other than the license expiration and certification. If it has an asterisk, you must put something there. You'll just fill that in one time. Now these are different defaults that you can set up based on the adjustments. The little blue question marks here, they will, if you click on them, they will populate and give you more information as far as how to use them. So for concessions, you'll enter the maximum percentage of concessions that's customary for your area. Anything over the number you put in the box here will automatically be adjusted. So the concessions depends on your MLS and if they report concessions. If they don't, this will not do anything. If I put a 3 here, and let's say for the comp 4% is reported, it's going to adjust for that difference. Or I can leave a 0 here if I just want all concessions to be adjusted that are reported. Age variance, whatever number I put here, I just tell Genie I don't want an age adjustment. If I put a 5, that means for the first 5 years age difference. Subject to comp, we won't adjust for age. Anything over 5 years, we will. You can put a 0 there if you just want to adjust for every year. Site size, whatever percentage I put here, Genie will not provide a site adjustment for. Since I have 30, if the comps are within 30% of the subject site size, we don't adjust. Anything over the 30%, we will. Or you put a 0 to adjust all site size variance. Subject previous sales years prior, comp previous sales years prior, these are defaults, you won't need to change them. Minimum square foot to adjust, pretty straightforward. I don't want to adjust for the first GLA, 100 GLA square footage. Anything over the first 100 we will adjust for. Adjustment rounding, when Genie does provide adjustments for you, if you choose to use them, would you like them rounded to the next 100, 500, or 1,000? You can leave it on 100 by default if needed. Comp export sort order, whatever I choose here from the drop down, that is the order in which the comps will be exported to the report. Most people leave it on close date, but it's up to you. Now anything with a checkbox means optional. If you would prefer to provide this information on your own, you deselect them. If you would like to leave all of this in here for the PDF support, you can just leave this all checked. It's up to you. And this effective age adjustment is for the subject. National Association of Home Builders, this is actually a national average of the GLA attributed to the total cost, total construction cost here. So if you click on this blue question mark, it's attributable, it's a hard word, to the actual cost of the house GLA, less any incidentals such as sidewalks, driveways, etc. This is pulled for you and automatically updated, so you don't have to do anything with it. You cannot change it. If you change it, then we have no way to verify why your percentage is the percentage you decided it should be, so you'll leave that as is. Now MLS acronym, what you're going to do is in this box, whichever MLS you use, you will just simply type in the acronym. For NTRACE, which is North Texas, you'll put NTREIS. Austin, you would put ABOR, among different ones. And there's multiple boxes here in case you're an appraiser that uses more than one MLS. And remember, we need to get this set up for you before you can use the Genie. If you're not sure what to put here, just give us a call and we'll tell you what the acronym is for you. Now anything you see below here in boxes, that's actually going to be put in the report for you by default. So for example, under verification source, I have MLS, assessor, and doc number. If we go back to total, right here in verification source, it's going to say MLS, assessor, and we'll pull the doc number. So that is a default. You can put whatever you'd like here. If you want something from the drop-down, you can select it from the drop-down. Drop-down means we can put it in there. If you just want to type something in, maybe you put your own verbiage in there, go ahead. Just remember, if it's not in the drop-down, we can't actually pull it. So some people will put, whatever the case is, you can type it in there. Hey, now the rest of the options here I tend to leave as they are. If your MLS gives us the view rating or view factor, we'll override that, put whatever the MLS indicates. If they don't, it will just come across as neutral, residential in the report for the comps. Functional utility, energy efficiency. You can choose something from the drop-down box. If you don't like any of the choices, you can type what you want us to put in the report. So under functional utility, for every comp, it's going to say dp/installation. Porch and patio normally says this, but we have no way to actually verify most porch and patio counts because the MLSs don't clearly indicate if there is one. So you can leave that there, but that's going to default for all comps. It will always say CP, which is covered porch / CP covered patio. If you don't want us to put anything there, just leave it blank. Okay, now you'll have blank row 1, blank row 2, blank row 3, and I'm going to go back to total. And you'll see in blank row 1 have fireplace, row 2 is empty, pool is 3. Genie will always put the fireplace count in blank row 1 and pool in blank row 3. So if you want an adjustment for either, you'll want to make sure to put that in row 1 and row 3 because the adjustment will always populate in those rows no matter where you put it. So you'll see down here, in blank row 1 I have fireplace, 2 I left blank, and 3 I have pool. Now there's up to 3 different things in each row you can place in there. I don't recommend that though because you'll run out of room at some point. But let's say fireplace, in-law, outdoor. All 3 of these items here, if I leave that there, they will all transfer to this top row. So it doesn't really make sense to put 3, but you can if you need to. I'm going to get rid of these. And put blank row 2 I just leave blank. It's too variable, meaning I'm not sure what I would put there based on the report, so I just leave 2 empty and worry about it once I'm in the report later. Okay, public record verification. When you pick the comps for the report, Genie is going to verify all of these fields here. You can tell Genie when we verify it, go ahead and just choose public record information, MLS information, or peer. Now a peer is just a running average of what you or your peers use. Has to be Appraiser Genie specifically, and we will just report back. So let's say for site you choose peer and it has been ran through Genie before. The comps will say, okay, averagely 1200 is used for site or 1500, whatever the case is. If you're not sure what to leave it on, maybe it just varies too much or you can't really rely on public or MLS, you can leave it on Ask Me. And later, if there's a discrepancy between the sources, you'll have a pop-up box and you can just choose which one you want to use as you see it. Column order. Now you're going to see there's quite a few columns here. You can actually move these columns up or down based on the order you want to see them displayed. This may make sense later, but you'll see all of this information displayed for each comp. So I will refer back to this at a later point. Just remember it's in your defaults. Alright, so once I've reached the bottom, we're going to scroll back to the top now. And I want to click Save. Make sure every time you change something, you click Save. Of course, it's loading up top here. Now, while that's loading, there are additional defaults you can set up. We don't go over them extensively in the webinar because they can take a little bit of time, but you'll definitely want to look at the comments. The narrator is going to provide a lot of commentary as far as any adjustments we derive, your comp weighting, sales previous history. I'll go and click on it once it's reloading real quick. Okay, so all of these little headers here, they're all going to come out in an addendum. You can move them up and down. We'll give you the property rights. We'll give you information on highest and best use, extraordinary assumption, subject. Scroll down. These are just different comments. We'll place an addendum for you. You can make an age adjustment comment, bath. Of course, there's quality and condition, and this will just auto-populate as long as you click this box towards the top here. As long as you leave this checked, this will be provided for you, and I will show you what that looks like once it's completed. Graphs, if you want graphs in the report, you can choose up to 10 different ones, and you can choose month, quarter, or year. And you go down and just choose which type of graph you want. So this is one graph here, this is one graph here, and there's another graph here. Alright, so you can come back and forth to this tab at any time. what we're going to do is go ahead and start the report. So just like I did earlier when I went back, I'm going to go ahead and click this forward arrow all the way over, and we're going to click on Input. So just keep in mind, you'll always be taken to the input page naturally, but you can click the back arrow, go back to defaults, change what you need to, and save it, and then just arrow back over. Okay, so you'll notice your subject address is across the top here. Now, I didn't have the parcel or legal number or legal information in the report, so that actually is just pulled for me. It will be placed in the report when we export. We want to fill this out top going down. From this drop down, we're going to enter the effective date of the report. Now I'm going to just go ahead and use today, which is fine. Select the form you're using. From the drop down, this top one is single family 1004 UAD, but there are quite a few different forms we support. Now, cost approach is optional. If the lender doesn't require it in the report, you can leave it on no, or you can change it to yes. Now, I would recommend just leaving it on yes, even if you don't need cost approach initially. If they do decide in the future they would prefer cost approach, CYA, whatever it is, you can leave it on yes and it will generate. Just remember, if you change it to no, it will not be in the report, but you'll still have the support for it in a PDF format. Okay, to the right you have the REO addendum, quantitative REO addendum, listing addendum. These check boxes, if you check them, that means we will provide this in the report. You don't have to have this already in the report. We'll generate the addendum for you. And this is going to refer back to the narrator. If you need FHA commentary or VA commentary, depending on the report type, you'll just check them here. Now, the whole idea with Genie is you log into your MLS, you create the neighborhood search. You don't create a ton of filters because you're actually going to do that here. So in this MLS export I downloaded to my computer, if we go down, we'll see how many comps I have in total. Looks like I have 98. So out of the 98, I definitely don't want all of those 98 to be in the 1004 MC, and I don't want all 98 to go into regression, matched pair. So I'm going to narrow that down based on this criteria on the left. Whatever you put here is going to go plus or minus the subject. So for example, I have a 10 in age. I'm telling Genie I only want to return comps that are 10 years newer or 10 years older than my subject. So it just creates a threshold. The comps have to be within the criteria I set here. If they're not, it's okay. It stays in the neighborhood search, but they will not affect the 1004. Any of the adjustment support, it will not be included. 40 is a percentage. I only want to return comps that are within 40% of my subject's GLA. And everything with a 0 means I don't care to narrow it by that. So I left the 0, and site size, stories, all of this here, it's not important to me. I'm just going to start with the 10 and the 40. This depends on your MLS, so a tip I have as far as garage space, maybe basement square footage, I don't really recommend you narrow it because if it's not in this MLS export you download to your computer and you put something here, you're going to incorrectly narrow it. Or if the MLS doesn't accurately give you the garage space, you can kick out comps that actually were the correct garage space due to a realtor entering it incorrectly. So just keep that in mind, kind of play around with this based on your MLS. Reconciliation weighting is a use path requirement. All you do is score 1 through 10 between costs, sales, and income. When I put a 10 here, I'm just telling Genie I want the full weight on sales comparison, but I could break it up like so, and that means 8 will go to sales comparison, cost is 10, or 2, excuse me. If you just want the full weight on sales comparison, you'll put a 10 there, and if you need more information, click on the little blue question mark. Highest and best use, you have your current use, which is residential, below as possible, also residential. Multifamily displays by default, but you can just click the drop down, blank it out, it gets rid of it. Land comp sales, this section is totally optional. You only have to enter anything here if you have raw land sales that need to be reconciled. So if you know the address, sales price, site size, location, adjustment, you can just put this in manually and we'll consider that when we derive the land value. If you don't have any, you just leave it as it is and skip it. Okay, last section is square foot method. This works similar if you use Marshall and Swift. This is where you transfer their information for cost approach. If you don't use Marshall and Swift or you want to get rid of it, you just leave this exactly as you see it and skip it. So I'm going to go with buildingcost.net, which is default, and leave this alone. And that's the end of it. You'll just scroll back towards the top now. Now, the only thing we need to do next is go ahead and import the file that I saved to my computer, the MLS search. We're going to click on Browse, and I already know where that's located. And this is the file that I have open down here on my computer. All I did was open it just so I can show you guys what it looked like. But I saved it here, so I'm going to click on it and go to Open. Now, when you do that, you're going to see your file name here. This is the file I just imported in the little green drop-down box. When I click on it, it wants me to tell it what MLS that belongs to. Of course, I use Intrace, so I'm going to click on Intrace, and all I do is click Start New Report. Now, Genie is going to import that MLS file. It's going to verify every address with the Postal Service. It's going to order it distance-wise, subject to comparable, and we'll kick out everything that's not UID compliant as well. Okay, someone asked if I have comps that I would like to include in the analysis. How do I? Are you saying it wouldn't be in the MLS file that you download to your computer? Can you clarify for me? Okay, I have a chat. Somebody asked me a question in chat. I'm not sure what you mean when you state that. If you have comps that you want included in the analysis, you just use your narrowing criteria. Okay, that'll be explained in a little while. I'm going to keep going and then you'll understand what I mean in a minute. What you see here is the subject information. This just automatically populates. All this is on page 2 of the total report. We took all the subject criteria and we just transferred it here. We do that because we want you to look at this, make sure you actually entered it correctly. If you need to change anything, go ahead. This actually gets sent to buildingcost.net for the total replacement cost. So it is important, especially things with asterisks. Please make sure you look at this before you click Next. Everything looks great to me. I'm going to go and click Next. Now Genie's going to take us to the narrowed search. If you guys remember, I indicated 10 years for age and I think 40% for GLA when I narrowed it. So we started out with 98. Excel starts at line 1, so you subtract. So 98 comps are in here. You're going to notice there's 63. So out of the 98, we reduced it to 63 based on the age being 10 years newer, 10 years older, and GLA 40%. I have 54 sold, 6 active, and 3 pending. This is going to be my 1004MC. So when you get to this comp search tab, you're at the narrowed search, and this will be the 1004MC. You can just click on input and go back. Maybe you didn't narrow it enough or you narrowed it too much. You can go back and widen the parameters. All you do is fill out the page just like we did earlier and re-import it, and it will change this here. So the 54 sold will be used for regression analysis and match pair analysis. And for extraction and allocation adjustments, we just simply use the subject and the comps you pick for the report. Now earlier I'd referred back to some column headers. There was a list of column headers on the defaults tab. You can reorder them. Those column headers are displayed here now. You'll notice when you grab this horizontal bar and scroll over, there's quite a few different column headers. If you don't reorder this, that's okay, but you're going to have to scroll back and forth to find the criteria you need when you pick the comps. So you'll notice I have site here, age, GLA, year built, sales price. You can click on the column headers. It actually will reorder it. Now it looks like it's going to oldest to newest. You can click on it again. And it's going to change that ordering. So it looks like it's going newest to oldest. Now before I change this around, before you click on these column headers, this is actually put in order for you. Top, going down, starting with closest proximity to the subject, followed by most recently sold and least adjusted. So if you change this ordering around and you want to go back to the way we had it, you just click on Reset Sort Order. It's going to load. and you'll notice the initial display is back. So here's my willow crest. I'm going to scroll over and look for distance. Here's my distance, 0.3 miles from the subject. So it looks like it's going closest to farthest, of course. Now the whole point of this page is from this narrowed set, you want to choose the comps you want to use for the report. Genie does not pick them for you. I'm not sure where that gets, I guess, interpreted at, but you still go through here. You will click on the comps you want to use for the report. Order this however you want when you're picking them. If you want to click on them to reorder that, that's fine. On the left-hand side, you'll have the S, which is indicated by a sold. When you scroll down, the actives are right below that. Any pendings will be below that, and any statuses will be underneath that. Now, if you get to this page and you feel there's outliers in here, maybe you're looking through here and you notice this herd comp. Let's say the sales price is $500,000. Of course, the subject sells for $250,000, whatever the case is. You can click on them. Let's say these three were outliers. Then you click delete selected comps, and you would click yes. And all it does is it kicks it out of this page. That way we don't use it for regression analysis, match pair, or any adjustment support. So what I'm going to do is just go through here and choose a few comps I want to use. Let's see. So I had an age and GLA parameter. Those are pretty good. You can just click on subject, and it's going to refer you back to the subject. So I know my site size is 10,000. And click next. And that's a little small. Just going to click this one. And let's just say I want those three. Now with total, you can select up to 15 in the report. Of course, if you need more than 3 or you need some actives, just make sure you click on all the comps you want here. We're going to just go ahead and click next once we have the comps we want. Now once we click next, Genie is going to take the 3 comps we chose for the report, and this is where we come in and verify what MLS reported against public and peer. You're going to notice it just takes you to the next page, which is called side by side. Just look at the blue tab. Now this is actually the final page. On the left hand side, you're going to have your subject. When you scroll down, use these black headers. That's site, and all the boxes that are filled in, they just come into your, they're from your total report for the subject. Now the cool thing about this page is you can modify whatever you need to. Like let's say you mistyped the site information and you caught it here. You can just erase that value, retype it, and if any adjustment, any support is affected by that, then it will upload and automatically adjust this page for you. So this page is not in stone. We understand people mistype things. You may have overlooked something. Correct what you need to here. You'll grab this horizontal bar, and you're going to notice here's the first comp I chose, 2813 Clear Meadow. Here's all the criteria, the data for it. Just make sure all 3 are here, 3328, and I have 2800 Bedfordshire. You'll definitely want to scroll through here, look through this criteria, modify first, and it's very easy to read. If you look up, that's 2800 Bedford, and then go straight across, that's GLA. So you just follow these black headers straight across the page. There's condition, conditions blank. You can fill that in if you want to. We'll put that in the report or do it later. Same thing here, I have design. Looks like I didn't put design in the report, or I'm not sure if I did actually. You can click the blue question mark and it will hover. If you click on it, you'll see a picture. I think this one was ranch. Let's see. We'll go with traditional and click done. So it's going to put traditional there. If all of the comps are traditional, you can actually click F2 and you'll notice it's populating them across the board, so I don't have to enter it. Let that load real quick. Okay, so now it says traditional there, traditional there, traditional there. Now the easiest part of this page is the adjustment column. What you're going to do is in this middle of the page here, you're going to see a black header. It says adjustment. When you scroll down, it's going to give you the type of adjustments Genie gives you. Now, by no means do you have to use all of these. I see it both ways. I see some appraisers that want the adjustment in the report, meaning they'll click on the adjustment they want. We put it in the report for them. Or I see some appraisers who want the comps loaded in, the TINA Form C and whatnot. They want the support for the adjustments, but they don't want us to put it in the report. They just want all the support in the PDFs. So If that's the way you want to go and you don't actually want us to make the adjustment, you don't do anything here. If you do, let's say for this is land value. If you look right here, this is 30,200, that's based on allocation, and 39,600 based on extraction. This doesn't really tell you much, but the great thing with Genie is all these tabs here, you can click on them. Obviously, site is going to refer to land. You can click on land. And when you scroll down, you're going to see this middle section, which is land extraction method. It'll tell you how this 39,600 was developed. And when you scroll down to land allocation method, this looks a little different, but it will show you the land value and the improvement value for the subject, and of course the values down here. It's not hard to read. We tell you what the column headers are. This says E times D equals F. Well, there is D, E, F. Okay, we're going to go back. You guys will see these in your work file, just showing you a couple of them. We'll click on side by side to get back to the grid. Now this little repair button here, this is pretty cool. It's not functional yet, but you can click on repairs, and let's say you have information based on the subject needing an AC repair, appliance repair, cabinet, whatnot. It may not need a full repair. Let's say just partial repair. You can click on 50 and it delegate a subtotal based on the amount. That is a construction cost takeoff by buildingcost.net, and you can actually put commentary in there in any of these sections, and that's part of what will go into the narrator addendum if you include any kind of repair information. So we're going to go ahead and just click on a few of these just so I can demonstrate. I do like this age adjustment. This 1100 here is going to be per year. So it's going to go subject to comp. Every year difference is going to be 1100. Click on that. It'll turn blue. And when we look straight across the page here, here's my first comp, 33. There's my first adjustment. And so forth. Second comp, second adjustment, and third comp, third adjustment. So that's an example of an adjustment I want in the report. If I didn't want that, just don't click on it. Same thing with bath. Maybe I don't want a bath adjustment. Maybe they all have the same bath count. Just don't click on it. Let's say I do want this $68 GLA square foot adjustment based on allocation, or 62 based on extraction. I'm going to go with 62. It's going to turn blue and load. There's my first comp, and there's my first comp adjustment. So you'll see how easy it is. You very easily click on them. I don't need a garage space adjustment. They're all 2 and 2, I believe. Covered patio, don't typically make one. Not going to click on that. Fence. Now, just to clarify on the fence and covered patio, we're able to give you an adjustment. As you see, you got 4,100 here, and a fence is 1,500. Most MLSs, in fact, 99.9%, do not tell us if the comp has a covered patio or fence. So we'll give you the support and adjustment, but you'll see even if you click on them, it doesn't actually put the adjustment in the report. You will see these adjustments in your allocation PDF, and you can refer back to them and make them on your own if needed. Now, one last thing to show you guys. In the middle of these columns here, you're going to see a header labeled Genie Peer Database. If there's information displayed here automatically, that's an example of a comp that's been ran through Genie previously by you or other appraisers. Doesn't look like these. Oh, here's some. Let's scroll back up. So you'll see this number here, 44. It goes straight to this comp here. So it looks like averagely for age, 44 is being used for this comp, and the 2055 for GLA. And that's just an example if they've taken the time to enter this information or if it was uploaded. Alright, so once I've clicked on the comps I want to use or not use, now we're going to click Export to Report. It's going to load. It's going to send all this information back to the total report I had open. Now you'll just sit here. It should kind of move itself. This little last pop-up box, this is your allocation land value we derived and extraction. Regression is going to come out really weird. That's a negative 884. If you don't have quite a few sold comps, it just isn't that accurate. I'll still have a PDF that tells me all the comps that were used in regression and what their values were, but by no means I would recommend you use regression unless you fully understand it. I definitely don't understand it, so I'm not going to click that. I'm just going to go with allocation, or you could click none. Whatever you click here is going to go into the opinion of site value for cost approach. So I'm going to go with allocation, click next. It's going to load a course here. We're just going to let it sit here for a moment. Renee, I believe Renee and Linda, you guys were asking me a few questions. Just stick around after I show the PDFs and whatnot. I'll make sure to help you guys. I'm not ignoring you. I see your chat messages. Okay, so you're going to see this little pop-up box. It just kind of populates on its own. You're going to ignore that because this should display. This doesn't pop up automatically, but there's nothing you need to do to make it display. You literally just sit there for a moment. This will load and populate. You're going to ignore this. This pops up quickly. The whole point of this is if this box never pops up here, you should be able to click no and it should try to recall it and make it pop up again. But for demo purposes, and I have a point to make in a minute, just ignore this. You're going to refer back to this. We're going to merge it to a currently open report. We're going to replace the data in my open report with the imported, and if I have a sketch, you check that. I don't have one, but if you do, please check it. Click import. It's going to load once again on its own. And you'll notice at the bottom total is highlighted orange. As long as you see it's highlighted orange, we're going to go down there and click on it, go back to the report, and you'll see the information is displayed here. Now the traditional is because how I typed it when I showed you guys the F2 function. So that can be reduced. You don't have to type in traditional. I don't even know if traditional is allowed. I don't think it is anymore, but you might want to put range there, whatever you want. That was just an example to show you what goes there. My MLS doesn't tell me detached, attached, or semi. If the MLS doesn't tell you, then you'll have to correct that. And that's just common. It depends on your MLS. You'll notice the quality and condition is empty. We do not make a quality and condition adjustment. Somebody's asking, is there a way to grab MLS or public data for the subject? Okay, your MLS, we don't actually communicate with the MLS. That's why we actually have to have a custom export, and that comes from the file that you download to your computer. So that is how we get the MLS info, is from you when you do the search on the MLS. Public records we will pull for you automatically, and we will pull that for the subject. So as stated earlier, if you guys don't know the room count, GLA or whatnot, don't fret. You can leave it empty, and we'll try to pull it from public. If we can't at that point, then you can enter it yourself. Doc number kind of depends on if we can pull it. You'll see we got these two here. If doc number doesn't populate, you don't by any means have to use doc number. You could put whatever you want there. That's kind of an example of what goes there. There were a few adjustments I clicked on, so you'll see them here. Depends on the ones you check. And you'll notice fireplace goes straight across as stated. If I had an adjustment, it would be straight there. I didn't click on any. And same thing with pool. The pool will always go down there. Okay, so market conditions addendum is here. You'll see some verbiage here. That's an example of a comment that we just automatically put in the report. You can modify this. You'll go to your defaults in Genie, click on comments. You can use what we see here. You can write your own. If you're a person who already has stock comments, maybe you want to use whatever you typically use. You just copy and paste them and save it, and then it will transfer what you have there. Cost approach, I believe we left on yes. Okay, so you'll see cost approach is already entered. We do not obviously do as is value. You guys will do that. This is just something we put in there because we actually access the replacement costs new from buildingcosts.net. We put whatever Q rating you assign the subject, the date and the year we access it, which should be the month and the day you use it. And the cool thing is this narrator addendum down here. So when you click on it, I'm actually going to expand it because there's like 3 pages. If you click this little expand arrow, you'll notice it populates it. You can modify this. You don't actually have to use every single thing. Like I can actually kick that out. You can, that will actually pull information. It's not set up right now, but this is an example of something that will be in there. There's a few adjustments I clicked on. I only clicked extraction. There's some Fannie Mae UAD FAQs in here. All of this is pulled. This is actually commentary or data we pull based on that specific report. So Genie knows to pull the GLA ranging from whatever criteria I put, however many's in there as far as the age, the distance, how many sold. All of this is pulled for you. The weighting is broken down. We tell you how you get the weighting, what comps were in there, what their value was, gross adjustment. This is just pulled. Value range, that's all in there as well. Cost approach, income, there's your subject previous history. It's quite a few steps, so I wanted to make sure I showed you guys because it's not fully functional, but it will be. I promise you'll get an email when it is. We're going to go ahead and exit out of that, and now I'm going to go to this work file tab. This tab at the top is actually where the bulk of everything is. We'll click on work file. You're going to notice all these PDFs here. These PDFs are just a PDF format of the tabs that were at the top of Genie. So you'll notice land here. Scroll down, double click on it. That's just a PDF version of what I showed you guys earlier when I clicked on land. Let's see, highest and best use, that's just highest and best use, physically, legally, and economically feasible. If you want more information on reconcile, reconcile is going to break it down based on weighted by quantity, weighted by nets, weighted by gross. And right down here, you're going to have your cost approach, sales comparison approach, and then I put a 10 on sales comparison, so the full weight goes to this, which is my reconciled value. Quite a few different PDFs in here. You guys should just take the time to look through them. If you want to refer back to an adjustment, you click on the tab that the adjustment was based on. If it's extraction, you double click it. Your extraction adjustments are in here. And same thing with allocation, you double click on it and allocation's in here. Alright, that pretty much sums it up. It does take a little while showing you it initially just because I go through pretty much every single step I could possibly think of. We do this 1 unit housing trends, the age, high-low predom. We don't do the characteristics, of course. Now I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions that were sent in chat. Just give me 1 second.
I don't want to be a master.
Okay, Alfonso said he could not hear me. Is everyone else able to hear me now?
Can hear you now.
Okay, awesome. Does anyone have any questions for me? Anything I can wrap up for you guys? Linda, do you have a mic or are you just able to chat?
I don't. Can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you.
Okay. When you did the import, it sorted by recent sales date and distance. Now, I don't think I've ever seen that on mine. Is that a setting I need to adjust?
Are you talking about the comp search page when you're looking at the comps that you pick for the report, this tab up here?
Right.
Okay.
Where it has them like the distance and stuff like that? I don't have that on mine.
Okay.
Like, it does all this for some reason.
Okay, that sounds like your default. So are you wanting something similar to where you have distance towards the front like you see right here?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, all you'll do is let me arrow back over. Yeah, it's pretty nifty. And then we'll click on defaults. It's going to load, and you're going to go all the way down to the bottom where it says column order, and that's where you just move the columns up and down based on how you want to see them displayed. The more you put towards the front, those ones you'll see immediately. The farther down you put it, you'll have to scroll like all the way over to see it. So let me show you.
Yes. Please.
Right here. See these columns here?
Order. Okay.
Yeah, so I want site, age. These are the ones towards the top I want to see immediately. The ones I don't care about, I just push them all the way to the bottom.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's a good one. Okay.
Yes, it is definitely helpful. Now, eventually, my goal or a programming team's goal is to just put a checkbox, essentially, and you just check the ones you want to see, meaning instead of just throwing stuff to the bottom, we'll just get rid of it as a total, and then let's just say you just want these top 10, that's all you'll see on that page. That's hopefully going to be something we can do soon.
The distance is good. I mean, that I would like to see.
Okay, so it's towards the bottom, I think, naturally. So just scroll around, you'll see
Okay.
distance, and then move it up.
So I go to defaults and all the way to the bottom and look at column order and reset it.
Yes, ma'am. And then you'll scroll back up and just click save, and that's it. Very easy.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're
Perfect.
welcome. Yes, ma'am. Renee, your RMLS is an all export, and I think after you create your search, you check the ones you want. I'm trying to remember if it's a download or an export button. It's been a long time since we've done an RMLS, but you can call our support team, and all they'll do is they'll remote in and show you how to do it. And if you need our support team phone number, that's 325-455-7939, or if anyone needs their MLS set up, it's the same number, 455-7939. Okay, so you can print the addendum, I believe. Let's go back down here and click on it, and I believe you just click this. Granted, I'm not a total expert at all, so let's see. I'm sure there's a function here you can print. I don't know. I know it's here, but by no means am I a total expert, so just look around or give them a call. I know you can print it, though. Or do what I did. I just kind of copied and pasted this into a Word document and printed it that way. That's another way you could do it. AT White, does this work for, yes. So we fill the GP Res 1 to 4 family. Let me go back here. There's quite a few. So I'm just going to go back to input and I'll show you the drop down again and it'll show you which forms that we do complete. Right now we don't do multifamily. If anyone's about to ask, we don't do multifamily. Okay, so this little drop down here, select the form. So we do the 1004 UAD, the condos, the 2055, the non-UAD condo drive-by, 1004C manufactured, 2055, 2090, 2095, and then you have your GP Res drive-by, single-family condo drive-by, and then the ERC. So these are the forms we support as of this moment. Anything outside of this we're not currently doing until they update the forms. Okay, Deb, if you don't have an appraiser license number, I just typed in 12345. We don't do anything with that, so if you're just doing it for the appraiser, you could ask him if he wants to provide you, but you don't have to actually put something there. Somebody's asking if we can put our own adjustment like bath adjustment. You can, but you definitely cannot do that in Genie. Genie is able to verify this with buildingcosts.net, public records, criteria such as market-driven information, but as far as you making your own bath adjustment, you'd have to do that in the report once you're in it. There's no way to support, you know, if you think it should be 2,000, why do you think it should be 2,000? You'll definitely have to put your own commentary in there. Okay, anybody else have any questions? We're pretty much right on time, so you're welcome, Linda. You too. Everyone have a great 4th of July. As stated, I will send an email probably in a couple of hours. It will have a direct link to this webinar. You can go to our website. And if you haven't tried Genie, I definitely recommend it. There's nothing to lose when you get 10 free. Thank you, guys. You have a great day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.